2.5 weeks. The season's there. No, it's like 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
I know.
3 weeks tomorrow. Man, that's crazy.
It's gonna go by fast too, I think. Hopefully.
I hope it
I
goes
want
by fast.
what?
I hope it goes by fast.
Yeah, I know, I do too. Like, especially on like these Tuesdays and Wednesdays when there's no
Oh,
football. It's like I
yeah,
just want to watch basketball. Yeah.
yeah. And plus, like the playoff race is like pretty much we already know who's where. It's just like kind of division leaders, and even then, that's all like for baseball. Like that's all
Yeah.
confirmed,
Yeah.
unless the Brewers somehow take the last
I
spot.
don't want the Padres to make it.
Yeah, I don't want them to make it either. That's like the only thing that I'm even like thinking about right now for
Yeah.
baseball. Because like last year, the AL wildcard was so ridiculous. There was like 5 teams going for 2 spots. Like it was so
I
close.
know. All
Um,
right. Start.
yeah, just tweeting out the link. Okay, welcome back everybody to another episode of The Sideline. My name is Rishioza,
My name's Asher Heyer.
and NFL Week 3 has concluded. Season is moving by very fast. It's crazy that it's already Week 3 and Week 4 starts in like 2 days, and it took so long to get. This is the most unfortunate part about football. Like the offseason feels so long, but the season goes by immediately, which is unfortunate. What is not unfortunate though is that the Broncos did in fact get a win. It was a tough win. It was one of the ugliest games I think I've ever seen in my entire life, but a win. So I think we should probably start with that. We didn't do any predictions last week, so we can't just like go through the games. We'll do them at the end of this episode, but I guess we'll start with the Broncos. What was your takeaway from this? Because it's hard to take anything away.
I know. I know. I mean, like you said, we won. I mean, that's what it comes down to, I guess, at the end of the day. Being 2-1 is nice, 2-0 at home, tied for first in the AFC West. So it's huge to win this game. Yeah, I mean, this was just a super ugly game by both offenses. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like both the Niners run game worked a little bit, but I feel like they didn't stick to it enough.
Yeah.
Like Jeff Wilson only got 12 carries, even though he averaged 6 yards a carry. But the Niners defense is so good. They on average limit opponents to less than 4 yards per play, which is crazy. And that showed with the Broncos, especially with Devonte and Melvin Gordon. They didn't get above 4 yards per carry. And then obviously Russ, struggled. 5 yards per attempt or 5 yards per completion. And so, yeah, I mean, so the offense is a negative and it looks pretty ugly, but the positive is the defense on both sides of both teams, really. What do you think about Denver's defense?
Oh my God. This is the best performance that I've seen from a defense. I know San Francisco's offense isn't crazy, but it is an offense that was in the NFC Championship game last year. It's an offense that with Jimmy Garoppolo has proven to be good. And the defense was lights out. Like after that touchdown drive in the first quarter, they literally didn't let anything happen. And the run defense was a little iffy. But whenever it got to third down, I'm pretty sure San Francisco was like 1 for 9 on third downs.
Yeah.
Like the only third down they got was at the very end of the game. So I'm trying to look at third down efficiency. They were 1 for 10, and they only had 13 first downs total, which is very, very good. Denver not much better. They only had 14, but I mean the defense was just so good, and I want to give a shout out to special teams as well because they were consistently putting them in tough spots, backed up, and it was the same thing on San Francisco side. I mean this was a game that was so close on every single aspect. Truly, the difference was the safety. Like if that safety doesn't happen, this is a tie game. It's 10-10. But instead it's 11-10. But the defense was so good. Pat Surtain, even coming off of an injury that forced him to leave a game, he looked incredible against both Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, who he was matched up with for most of the game. Josie Jewell coming back made a huge difference. You could the difference between him and Alex Singleton is night and day. And Denver really, really missed him. And him coming back was ginormous. You could see it immediately. He had like 9 tackles. Let me see what is 9 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for a loss, and a fumble recovery in his first game in almost a full year.
2 QB hits too.
And 2 QB hits. Yep. He had a huge game. So great to see. It was so good to see him back out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as you said, like that was the best special teams game by the Broncos I feel like we've seen in like the past, at least since the Super Bowl, like the past like 7 years. Shout out to Corliss Waitman and Dwayne Stukes, the special teams coordinator. They were saying that like, Waitman, that the punts in the first 2 games are just like terrible and it needs to be fixed. And credit to them, they went out and they absolutely fixed it. Like I think he punted 10 times and 6 or 7 of them were inside the 20 and a lot inside the 10. And
6 inside the 20 with no touchbacks. 10 punts for 476 yards.
That is crazy. But yeah, I mean the special teams unit overall with the tackles that they were making, didn't really allow Ray McCloud to go crazy, which I felt like, with the amount of returns, he got 7 returns overall in this game. I feel like last year he would have broken at least one of those for like 40, 50 yards, if not a touchdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a huge positive sign. As you said, the defense was amazing. I mean, Gregory and Chubb off the edge have both been great. Josie Jewell, huge pickup to get back. When he plays, especially the past 2-3 years, when he plays and he's healthy, like he's really good. It's just
very good.
He's always off the field. But Alex Singleton was good on special teams. But yeah, I mean,
yes, he was really. He had a couple of really good tackles on Ray McCloud in punt coverage.
Yeah,
which is fine. Like you get him for depth and for plays like that, but starting is tough, and especially against George Kittle coming into this game. If Alex Singleton was in there, it would have been tough. And even then, I was expecting George Kittle to leave me permanently scarred tonight, or on Sunday night. But Denver did a great job holding him. They did the same thing with Deebo Samuel in the second half. He was pretty much non-existent after having a pretty big first half. And that's another thing. Ejiro Evero, right?
I think you can just say like EJ Evero.
EJ Evero. All right, we'll go with that. That's much easier to pronounce. That hire was knocked out of the park. Nathaniel Hackett did a phenomenal job. And we knew that he was going to be good because he's under the Fangio coaching tree. And he has done such a good job with this defense. I mean, it is elite. It's better than last year. And obviously most of that has to do with just health. But Justin Simmons has been out the last 2 weeks. All pro says the best safety in the league has been out. And
it hasn't been super noticeable.
It hasn't been noticeable. That's how good he's done. And then big shout out to PJ Locke. He had a great game. Caden Stearns has filled in very well for him. Kareem Jackson had a big game. He had a deflection that led to the Jonas Griffith interception. And then he had the fumble recovery from PJ Locke, forcing it at the end of the game to clinch it. So
yeah,
he's done a phenomenal job. The defense was the part that we were concerned about coming into the season, but even the depth pieces have played really, really well. Like PJ Locke has played really, really well. Damari Mathis coming in relief last week played really, really well. Mike Purcell has played really, really well. Yes. Deshaun Williams has played really, really well. Like every single member of the defense has played well. And that's exactly what we could have asked for.
Yeah. I love how they're attacking the football too. Like 3 fumbles or one of them was a muff, but 2 fumbles that were, ripped out. They had a few fumbles the past couple of weeks too. So I like that aggressiveness for sure. But I guess going back to like the offensive side or the game in general, fortunate, I feel like, to come out with the win, because I feel like it was more Niner mistakes. It was a fantastic job by Denver to not shoot themselves in the foot. Melvin Gordon tried twice to do that. Thankfully, the Broncos pounced on both of the fumbles. But yeah, Denver didn't make the big turnover. Russ didn't throw a big pick six, or Montreal Washington didn't fumble or whatever. It was more the Niners with Jimmy G stepping out of bounds. It would have been a pick six if he like if they just didn't call that. So I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it was lucky for him. And then that Jeff Wilson fumble at the end to seal it. I feel like there are a couple other things that kind of went Denver's way, but offense still figuring it out. Just the third week of the season, I'm not super concerned because we've seen this in the past with Peyton Manning. Peyton started 2-3, and they were down 24-0 to the Ravens in that week 4, and they won that game, and then finished the season 13-3 in 2012. And I don't think this Broncos team is a 13-3 team, but if the offense, it should definitely pick up as the chemistry gets going and the play calling, flows better. But yeah, I mean, just encouraging to come out and beat a super talented, probably top 3 roster Niners team, regardless of the way they got it done.
Yeah, that's something that I was kind of stressing on Twitter and to some friends who were concerned about the offense. Like, the Niners are a good defense. Like, that is their staple. That is what they are relying on, regardless of who is that quarterback, who is Trey Lance or Jimmy G. They were going to rely on this defense to carry them. And Denver looked, if they looked bad in the first half offensively, but it was also just a lot of the Niners just playing really good defense. Like, they schemed very, very well. And the broadcast was touching on it a bit too. Like, they just were not allowing anything to go deep. They were forcing Russell Wilson to take the check down specifically over the middle, which is exactly what he does not like to do. And we saw it, I noticed it a lot. He would check down to Melvin Gordon or Devonte Williams like immediately because he knew, okay, this deep route, like, it's just not going to be there because of the coverage that you're seeing pre-snap. And he knew that immediately. So he would check down to Melvin Gordon on the side or Javonte Williams on the side, and it would just go nowhere. But in the second half, they adjusted. And I think something that I noticed was that Russell Wilson played more like, once again, the broadcast touched on this too. He played more like Russell Wilson in the second half rather than Aaron Rodgers, because Nathaniel Hackett and Justin Mountain, both from Green Bay, and they had Rodgers, and this is they coached the 2-time MVP, back-to-back MVP, but like, what his way of doing it is just short passes, quick passes, and then eventually taking a shot. Russell Wilson isn't like that. He wants to take big plays and make big plays all the time. Yeah. That's his way of playing. And he started to work that way in the second half, and especially on that touchdown drive. It was 3rd and 10. He threw it to Kendall Hinton, and that was like pure Russell Wilson, like rolling out of the pocket, throwing on the run, avoiding a couple of sacks, and then making a play by himself. And that's what Russell Wilson was doing. And I hope that they allow him to kind of do that more instead of scheming these plays where it's just super quick, and then eventually taking a shot.
Right.
Which I want that to happen more. But
yeah,
San Francisco's a tough team. And like you said, it's only the 3rd week that these guys have all playing together because they didn't do anything in preseason. So it'll take a little bit of time. But honestly, I mean, I'm encouraged by what I saw in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, for sure. I'm too. I'm hoping that can be momentum for them. Like, I love that back shoulder throw to Sutton that finally ended up working. Like, Russell's deep balls, granted that wasn't really a deep, lofting ball, but it was still a nice back shoulder pass, because his deep balls this season have kind of floated inside, not really giving Sutton a chance to go up and get it back shoulder. But that was a beautiful, Russ to DK, Russ to Jermaine Kearse type of pass out there on the sideline to get him, obviously closer to getting the touchdown. And then, yeah, there are a couple vintage Russ plays. That little chest pass to Melvin Gordon, that was cool. And then obviously him rolling out to the left and finding Hinton. So I'm hoping that can be kind of this momentum thing that they can take into the next game, and hopefully just like blow out the Raiders. That would be fun.
That would be really fun. The Raiders are reeling at 0-3. I will say,
game, I guess.
What?
We can talk about that game, I guess.
Yes, we'll talk about that. I want to mention one thing. I am a little worried about KJ Hamler. I know it's his first couple of games back, but he quite literally does not have a target in the 2 games that he's played. Doesn't have a target on plays that aren't free plays. So that's a little concerning. Once again, this game was tough because San Francisco schemed it so well, and especially against a player like KJ Hamler, whose thing is speed and getting deep routes and getting deep passes. So wonder if they'll try and scheme him in a bit more here. But that was one thing that kind of concerned me a little bit. But
Yeah, it's tough. Like I feel like both Hamler and Judy, like especially Judy kind of working in the middle of the field and stuff. Like Russ is just not good at finding people in the middle of the field unless they're wide open. It's like it's just tough for him unless he sees they're wide open. Like, okay, he's for sure wide open. Like this isn't going to be an interception because he just can't really see. And I feel like him not being able to see, he's like, oh, am I sure that there's a defender there or something, or that there's not a defender there? And he kind of has to like double check to look across the middle of the field. And I feel like that's kind of hurting Judy and Hamler a bit, and it's kind of boosting Sutton up because Sutton's always usually outside the numbers.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that combined with Russ obviously losing a step, like he's not going to just, dodge out of a sack and then juke out 2 or 3 defenders for like 15 yards after running around in the backfield like he used to do in Seattle. But he just can't do that anymore. So that too, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think it is pretty concerning. I think Tim Patrick was actually a way bigger loss than people assumed, because Russ having 2 big receivers like that on the outside, I think that could, really work for him.
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree. Tim Patrick would have been perfect for Russell Wilson as a big possession receiver. Like you mentioned, we're seeing it with Courtland Sutton. He's had 2 back-to-back very, very good games against good defenses. Excuse me. But yeah, Tim Patrick would have been perfect. Would have opened up so much more for Jerry Jeudy and eventually KJ Hamler. Over the middle, deep shots like that. They did take one deep shot to Jerry Jeudy, which was this close. If Russ had an inch more on it, it's a touchdown. And a lot of people were saying that was a drop. You try catching a ball that's tipped right in front of your face while you already have to do the incredibly difficult task of tracking it through the air, and then make sure you're in a position to catch it normally, and then it's tipped right in front. Like, it's almost impossible to catch a ball like that. So people blaming Jeudy for that are just looking for a reason to hate him. That was not his fault. I guess we should move on. Good win for the Broncos, but definitely some more to work on. Moving on, mentioned the Raiders. We'll just go straight into that game, I guess. Raiders, Titans. Raiders, the only 0-3 team in the NFL right now, which brings a lot of joy to my heart. And realistically, they have a shot of being 3-0 out of these first 3 games. But they have just not had things go their way. Derek Carr has not played well. His stats look good, but he hasn't played well. Like, that's just that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's just having trouble, kind of. It's almost the same thing as Russ and Hackett right now. Just, new offense with Josh McDaniels. Just not really connecting, I feel like, with him. He played well in the first half against the Cardinals, and then played pretty well in this game in the second half. But Devonte Adams hasn't been involved really at all through the past 2 weeks. He did catch a touchdown, but only 5 receptions for 36 yards. It was more Mac Hollins who had a random huge game. 8 receptions, 158 yards, and that touchdown to get him to within 2, and then they eventually failed on the 2-point conversion. But Mac Hollins was huge for them. I mean, like I didn't really think that this team was exceptionally talented, especially on the defensive end. They've got two good players, 2 stars, I guess, on the defensive end, even though Chandler Jones hasn't really done anything. And outside of those 2, Jones and Crosby, like, what is there? I mean, there's nothing in the secondary really whatsoever. I mean, like, the linebackers are not good. Offensive line, with them being bad, that's always a recipe for disaster. Darren Waller hasn't really been involved. It's just tough going for the Raiders right now, but they could be 3-0, just stupid things that they do. Yeah,
it's just bad. Like, it's just bad scheming, bad playing by the players, bad coaching by the coaches. And Dan Orlovsky did a quick segment today about it on whatever ESPN titles their NFL show. They did one where it's like, the Raiders are struggling, and a lot of people are putting the blame on Josh McDaniels, but a lot of it should also go on Derek Carr because he is just like he's not looking at Devonte Adams in some of these situations. And he went through 3 plays and he said that he found at least like twice that he found 6 or 7 plays and he could only show 3, obviously because of timing and stuff. But like the scheme is perfect for Devonte Adams to get a catch and to do something with it. And Derek Carr is just not looking his way. And I don't know if that's the way that they're coaching it, that this read isn't supposed to be it, or Derek Carr is not recognizing it pre-snap that this read is going to be open, or if there's just no communication, like something is going on where Derek Carr is just not looking at Devonte Adams, which is so weird because he had like 17 targets in the first game. Like he was the number 1 target, and you're thinking, okay, if he's gonna look like this, for the rest of the season, it'll be good. But he just has not looked his way, and I think that's part of like he did have 10 targets. But he should have had more than that. He should have had like 15, 16 targets because he was open on a lot of plays that they just didn't get him the ball.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they can improve for sure, but right now, not looking good at all. Titans, that's a big, huge win for them.
Yeah.
Because if they were to fall to 0-3, that would be obviously really tough for them to come back from. But Derrick Henry looked good. And Robert Woods looked really good too as their kind of main receiver now with AJ Brown gone. And then I mean their defense, I still think that they're, probably a borderline playoff team, and I think it showed this week.
They have the pieces, especially defensively, to be a playoff team. It's just offensively outside of Derrick Henry, and even then, that's still iffy. This is his first good game of the year, so if he can play well, they have a chance. But like outside of Derrick Henry, they don't really have an established go-to offensive guy, and I think that's going to end up being a big problem for them. Like you draft Treylon Burks with your first round pick, essentially trading AJ Brown for Treylon Burks, and you're not really throwing his way. You're not getting him as involved as you would probably have wanted your first round pick to be involved. The Robert Woods had a good game, but I don't think he's a number 1 receiver material. I think he's best suited as a number 2. So that's my biggest issue with them. However, they have a recipe that they could win with, and it's running the ball and scheming receivers open and relying on their defense, which they did all last year. And obviously they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. So they can do it. They have a very good defense still. And if they had lost this game, especially because the AFC South is so wacky right now with the Jags leading it, like going 0-3 would have been really, really tough because you're last in the division. That happens. Last in the division with Houston and Jacksonville above you. Like that's,
I know,
it's a tough spot to be in.
The Raiders might have a worse last in the division with the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos. But all right, next game, I'm just going kind of across the ESPN scoreboard. Eagles, Commanders. Just domination by the Eagles, like they've done. Jalen Hurts looks so good, passing the ball. 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, just clean football. You can still run it, obviously. Devontae Smith was just like mossing everyone. AJ Brown had a huge catch by the goal line where he like reached over. That was nice. And then defensively, they looked really, really good too. And the Eagles, they probably look like the best team in the NFC right now, I guess, through the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. This is a team that I was excited about coming into the year because of the offseason moves that they made, getting James Bradbury, getting Hassan Reddick, getting Jordan Davis in the draft. I thought was huge. Kaiser White, and then trading for CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like they made some legitimate moves in the offseason. And then AJ Brown on top of all that, like you're putting it together. It's just depending on whether or not Jalen Hurts is truly ready to become the guy. And through 3 weeks, it looks like he hasn't played the greatest of competition, but he looks like he is much improved. He's throwing the ball with a lot of confidence, a lot of zip. And obviously he can still rush the ball very, very well. But I think he's starting to become more of a pocket passer, relying on his arm more than his legs. I'm really excited to see how this team plays. going forward because the run game is still a little suspect. That's their one weakness, their one glaring weakness at least. Because they just don't have good running backs. Like I don't know what other way to put it. But their offensive line is good enough to where that they can create enough push to where it's serviceable. So it's not that big of a deal. But like they average on 30 carries, they average 2.4 yards per rush. Like you cannot, that's obviously not good. But if they can shore that up, they're going to be very, very dangerous going forward.
Yeah. Their defense was good though. Sacked Carson Wentz 9 times. Forced 2 fumbles. They recovered 1. I mean, like Brandon Graham, 2.5 sacks. Hassan Reddick, 1.5 sacks. Fletcher Cox, 1.5 sacks. Josh Sweat, 1.5 sacks. Javon Hargrave, 1 sack. Darius Slay has been playing shutdown since last week. James Bradbury, 2. CJ Gardner-Johnson was a big pickup. This team looks good. This team looks really good. Commanders definitely like pretty, I guess, iffy on them.
I'm iffy. A lot of it, same issues with the Eagles, that the run game is so iffy that you got to rely on Carson Wentz, who's not awful, but like you don't want to rely on Carson Wentz, especially if your team isn't super good. Like Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, very good, but outside of that, not much. Jahan Dotson did not have as good of a game as the first couple, which is, I'm not concerning he's a rookie, but like you need him to have a good game. You need Carson Wentz to find him. You need the rushing game to be good. Like they also did not have a good game, and they were down early so much that they couldn't run the ball at all. Like I'm pretty sure, I don't know how if the stat is real, but like at one point the passing yards were like 324 to -1 in favor of Philadelphia. I don't know if that's real, but that was a graphic that Fox put up, and like how do you get like that's an insane amount of domination.
Yeah. Washington can get anything going until like the 4th quarter. That was like the same thing in the Lions game, I felt like too. They just start out so slow, and then in the second half they come out and they put up good numbers yards wise, but they're last in the NFC East now. Next game, Jacksonville Chargers. Dude, I love Jacksonville so much. I think they're so good. Like another complete domination of a team. They completely dominated the Colts last week. This game was close for a little bit in the first half, and then the Jags just pulled away in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Just like no real weakness on the Jags team at all. I mean, the defense, at all 3 levels, the defensive line is phenomenal. As we said last week, the linebackers, Foyesade Oluokun, and then Devin Lloyd, who had another interception, 2 picks in his first 3 games. Amazing. The corners are good. The safeties are good. And then offensively, like the offensive line, maybe was like a weakness coming into the season, but Joey Bosa didn't get a sack, and Khalil Mack didn't get a sack. Matter of fact, no one on the Chargers got a sack.
They kept Trevor Lawrence clean the entire game.
And then their running game is good too. James Robinson, 6 yards to carry, had that 50-yard long touchdown. So, running backs are good, and then the receivers are solid too, especially what they signed in free agency. So, like, there's nothing here on the Jags team that tells me that they're like not a playoff team, because I feel like every single position group, when you go through it, is great, and you combine that with Trevor Lawrence playing phenomenal. Get teams like this.
I think the only weakness that they have is just youth. But I think that was their biggest weakness last year as well. But you also have an inexperienced head coach in Urban Meyer, and all of that mixes together, and it just creates a really bad recipe. But having an experienced guy like Doug Peterson, a guy who won a Super Bowl, he knows what he's doing with young quarterbacks. Him being kind of a veteran presence in a very youthful locker room is definitely shown, because in all 3 games, even their first game, they probably should have won against Washington. They have a legit shot of being 3-0 right now. And it's not like they beat bad teams. Like the Colts are a team that's expected to be in the postseason. The Chargers might have been the most talented team on paper coming into this game. Like they've beaten good teams. And they end a 18-game losing streak on the road with this win, and it's just complete domination. It's very, very good. Trevor Lawrence might have been the best game of his career today. I mean, he looked super poised in the red zone. He was dotting everything up. No sacks. He didn't turn the ball over. Played very, very clean. He finally has like actual receivers to throw to. Like Marvin Jones isn't his number one anymore. He has Christian Kirk and Zay Jones, and Travis Etienne's been a really good option out of the backfield in certain situations. I'm This is a good team, and you were the first person to call it last week after they beat the Colts. So we'll credit you with that for now.
Thank you. The Jags are they're my crush for this season. The Chargers, it is pretty concerning. Herbert was hurt, obviously, but still can't run the ball. They couldn't run the ball last year, still can't run the ball, and they still can't defend the run like last year. I know they went out and got Sebastian Joseph Day and Khalil Mack, but I mean, Jerry Tillery is a real weakness on that football team.
Oh my God.
At D tackle. And when you get up into the linebackers, Drew Tranquil has been playing pretty well, but once you get past that defensive line, like Derwin James, I guess, is really the only sure kind of tackler to stop the run. And that is tough. Whenever you can't run the ball and you can't defend the run, that's not a good combo. And they missed the playoffs last year because of that, really.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse because they suffered a lot of injuries in this game. Jalen Guyton tore his ACL. He's out for the year. They lost Rashawn Slater, who was an All-Pro in his rookie season. He's out for the season with a torn bicep. They lost Corey Linsley, their center. I don't know what his status is, but he left the game at some point. Joey Bosa is considered week to week. He'll probably miss some time, is what Brandon Staley said. You obviously still have Herbert, who's hurt. Keenan Allen didn't play in this game. He's been hurt for a couple of weeks. They got hit with the injury bug that a lot of teams have been hit with over the past couple of seasons. They just got down. They weren't even down that. They were down 13-0 in the first half. I think that's as bad as it got in the first half. Let me check
I think it was 13-7 and then 16-7.
It was in the first half. It was 16-7 at the end of the first half. Which is not bad, but they only ran the ball 12 total times in the game. And that's counting Herbert running himself. So they had 11 design carries and only 4 by Austin Eckler for 5 yards. That is really bad. You have to be able to establish a run, especially when your quarterback's playing with whatever it was, like a punctured lung or whatever, with some sprained ribs, whatever he had. You cannot throw the ball 45 times in a game and expect to win with an injured quarterback, and especially without that zero speed. Jalen Guyton was their fastest receiver, and he runs like a 4.5. And now he's out, and you just have nothing. And we saw what happened with the Broncos when they were missing Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. Yeah, you aren't going to be able to have a good passing attack when you're not able to throw the ball. So that was that's an issue, and it's only going to get worse for them, especially if they're missing. Obviously, Slater's out for the year, but if you're missing Linsley for a big amount of time, you're going to be relying on your 50% quarterback. Which really, really, really sucks.
Yeah, tough start for the Chargers. I'll take it though.
This is what it was. Some team was bound to get hit with the injury bug. It always happens. It's been the Broncos the last couple of seasons. The Niners got hit with it in 2020. The Ravens got hit with it last year as well. It always happens. One team just gets destroyed. So very unfortunate that it's the Chargers though. This has been their best team on paper in a long time.
Green Bay, Tampa Bay, 14-12. Another kind of snooze fest defensive battle like the Broncos game. really positive that the Packers ended up winning this game. That is impressive, beating the Buccaneers. Even though the Bucks, they were missing Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, but the Packers usually lose these types of games where it's just like a defensive battle and whoever makes the big play wins it. They lost that Niners game, and then, I just feel like all these low scoring Packers games, they just lose. But they won this game. Their defense is definitely for real. Romeo Dubs looked really good, or Dobbs. And he's going to have to be a major player for them come postseason time or near the end of the regular season, because Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard I don't think are really putting fear into opponents' hearts. Maybe Alan Lazard a little bit, but Randall Cobb at this point, not at all.
At this stage in his career, no.
So Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, he didn't play, but he's going to have to be a big time weapon for them. Devondre Campbell on the defensive side, 14 tackles. So he's backing up that all-pro year with another solid start. Rashawn Gary's been good. Kenny Clark has been good. Quay Walker, I think, forced a fumble or something this game.
I think he did. Yeah.
I mean, both defenses look good. The Buccaneers defense looks really good too. So this is like not too much, I feel like, you could take out of this game, kind of just a defensive battle.
I am aware that the Bucs were missing both Godwin and Evans. However, I'm still worried about the offense, because even with Evans and Godwin, it didn't look particularly inspiring. But I am worried. The run game doesn't look good. Leonard Fournette, it's not on Fournette. I mean, their entire offensive line is pretty much completely different, which is a big change of pace over the last couple of years. It had been together for like 4 or 5 years at that point. The only returning starter from last year, I think, is just Tristan Wirfs. I think everybody else is different, and you can definitely tell. Just the communication is off. They're not getting enough push in the run game. They're not protecting Tom Brady the same. Brady's been playing fine, and I mean, he's 45 years old. If he plays bad, it's because he's 45 years old. I don't think there's anything you can say against him that will really ridicule him at this point, but he's not the issue. It's a lot of the offensive lines, a lot of the schemes that are going on. Their offense just isn't working right now. And that's a big worry for me. But we'll see how it goes, because their schedule isn't that hard. It gets tough towards the end of the season, but I mean, they're playing in a division with just bad teams, so they get 4 or 5 really easy ones. Anything against the Panthers and the Falcons is just whatever. Those are just warm-up games. But we'll see if they can figure it out against the Chiefs, because Mike Evans was suspended for this game. We'll see if he comes back, or he will come back. But we'll see how he looks, because they need him to be good. They need a steady guy offensively, because the run game does not look good at all.
Yeah,
defense looks good. Defense is legit still.
The secondary looks really good. Yeah. Davis and Jamel Dean has been really good. And Winfield too. So yeah. Next game, Rams Cardinals. Rams won 20-12. Don't feel great about the Rams after this one. They seem to always just mess up during a game. Something that they do is just off. Cam Akers fumbled at the goal line. Matt Stafford, no touchdowns. Cooper Kupp had that drop in the end zone, or maybe a little outside the end zone. Kind of back shoulder throw that he should have caught. I think the Cardinals are a disaster. 12 points. I think whoever they play, kind of offensively, it's going to look really, really bad. Kyler Murray almost threw the ball 60 times.
They're not even they're not. They play at the Panthers their next game, and Carolina's favored by 1.5.
Oh wow!
That shows.
I was gonna say, I feel like Carolina and the Cardinals are two similar teams right now. Just terrible head coaches. Their offenses can't do anything. And they're just both completely reeling.
We talked about it in our class. It's how long do you think Cliff Kingsbury's leash is right now? Because he got extended in this offseason for reasons that are beyond our understanding. But if they go 6-11 or like 5-12. Do you think they have enough to fire him? Like I think they do.
Yeah, I think so. I think him, Matt Rule, Robert Saleh, maybe are definitely on the hot seat. Yeah, I would say like I think they should get rid of Kingsbury sooner rather than later. Just like get Kyler Murray out of this whole college offense situation. I mean, some of these plays that they run are it's like, I mean, they try doing like these little options where Murray tosses it out and Connor can't do anything, and then like just little these college like reverse kind of plays that don't do anything.
Yeah.
And their weapons are really bad. I don't think James Conner is like a good running back. Hollywood Brown is decent. Greg Dortch, didn't even heard of him, to be honest, before this year. Andre Bekalekli, can't even say his name. Zach Ertz, not very good. He had a drop in the end zone. Andy Isabella is not very good. So AJ Green at this point in his career is not very good. Cardinals overall just not very good. Defensively, not good either.
No.
So, yeah.
No. That should show you how bad that loss that the Raiders had against these guys. They're just really, I mean, this is just not a good team. Like right now, they're just not a good team. They just don't have talent. Like last year, they had talent. DeAndre Hopkins obviously helped. The offense was working. The offensive line was playing better. But this year, it's tough. And I think, yeah, James, the run game last 2 years really hasn't been good. Last year was decent, but you lose Chase Edmonds, and you don't have a replacement for him at all. And that really sucks. James Conner is good in goal line situations. He's very good in goal line situations, but literally anything outside of that, he is not good. He's just not. He doesn't have the speed that you need as a running back. And that's really, really hurt them. Kyler Murray, like 58 attempts for 314 yards, like that's bad. Like that's really bad. And there were a couple of coaching mistakes that I thought they made. I'm pretty sure it was 20-9 in the fourth quarter. There were like 5 minutes left. Arizona could have just taken a field goal and then gotten a stop and then gone for a touchdown and a 2-point after that. But they went for it on fourth down and then they didn't get it. And then the Rams run off like 5 minutes of the clock. They use all their timeouts and then they have it. And then they kick a field goal after that. And it's like, well, then like what?
Yeah.
What's the point? Like there's just so many dumb coaching mistakes that are being made right now. And,
that's true. I didn't even know that happened. I'm looking at the drive thing right now. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, that was the Cam Akers fumble was after the downs.
Like they had a chance. Like if you take that field goal and you still get the fumble, you're in great. You're right there. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dumb stuff happening.
I know. All right. Falcons, Seahawks, battle of the top 5 picks. But I mean, I'm happy Kyle Pitts got involved. That's for sure, especially for my fantasy team. And Cordell Patterson had a good game, but like I don't even know where to like start.
I'm gonna be honest. I did not watch much of this. I was watching on Red Zone. I've noticed this. I cannot watch football without Red Zone now. I just can't. Like it's just so hard. There's so many commercial breaks that it's just like the action's there and then it's gone. And the action's there and then it's gone.
Do you just use like a Reddit stream?
Yeah, I just use a stream for Red Zone. And then like because it was like the Broncos game, especially because it was national TV, so there's even more breaks and the commercial breaks are even longer. Like it was in the first quarter. There was the Broncos, like there was a commercial break and the game started. And then it was a quick drive, punt, commercial. Broncos go 3-and-out, punt, commercial. It's like, dude, we do not have attention spans long enough.
I know.
Most people aren't going to care that long. Like, geez, it's so hard to watch. And especially a game like this where I have zero stakes in. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just cannot. It's
DK Metcalf had finally like a decent game. Caught that touchdown. That was a really impressive catch. And they almost got another really good one, but his foot was slightly out of bounds. I think the Falcons are, well coached by Arthur Smith. They've been in all of these games, even with Mariota not playing exceptionally well. Their defense has played pretty well overall. Like Michael Carter, I think their linebacker, he's had a really good year so far. Um, so I mean, there's some stuff to like about Atlanta. Seahawks, not so much, but
Yeah. I hope
yeah,
they just spend Desmond Ritter at some point.
yeah, I do too.
Season. Just so that you can get him going a little bit. Like I like Mariota, but there's really no reason for him to start on a team that is not that doesn't have a chance of making the playoffs. So hopefully you can get him in there, get him some chemistry with Kyle Pitts and Drake London. Drake London does look very good as well. Just get him in with get some early chemistry for next year. So hopefully, you get another early pick and you can do something with that and hopefully look competitive next year. Obviously, we talked about this before, like fan versus actual expectations are so different. Like Arthur Smith can't start Desmond Ritter day one because if he sucks and Arthur Smith gets fired, which for us it's fine because we're not the ones getting fired. So it's like, oh, I just started him. You guys are just bad. I was like, no, they can't do that.
Yeah.
But hopefully they do it at some point.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Cowboys Giants, the Monday night game.
I didn't watch a single segment of this game.
Really?
I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I mean, Cooper Rush played pretty well. CeeDee Lamb, he had a huge drop, but then really made up for it on one of the final drives because he had a big 26-yard gain and then that one-handed catch in the end zone to put him up 23-16, I think. Saquon Barkley looked good. He ripped off a 36-yard touchdown, making a couple guys miss. But overall, I mean, just bad quarterback play by Daniel Jones and not nothing spectacular from Cooper Rush. It leads to a 23-16 game, but I still think the Giants, they look fine. Their defense seems pretty good. Sterling Shepard being out for the year sucks. Like he was literally. Did you see that video?
I tuned in for the last drive. Because I saw that New York had a chance.
Yeah.
And I saw the last drive, and I saw the interception, and then Sterling Shepard was just hurt. And they showed the replay, and I was like, "What? How? Like what?" Like, he was just jogging. That's one of the more freak ACL injuries I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like that, and that really sucks. They don't have anybody else. Like they should have Kenny Galladay. I don't know what he's doing, but
0 receptions for Kenny Galladay, and he had a huge drop.
Huge drop. I saw the drop. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that just sucks. I mean, it's like the MetLife field. I mean, how many more years can we go on with this? Like people have been complaining about the MetLife field forever.
Mm-hmm.
And they just still keep putting out this terrible turf that just doesn't give or anything on the knee. Like with grass and stuff, you can rip up grass. You can't rip up turf. And instead of the turf ripping up, it's your knee getting completely compressed and your knee is getting ripped up.
I don't know why turf is still being used in general.
Yeah, I know.
Like I get it probably costs a lot more to maintain grass, but these owners are freaking. You guys are multi-billionaires. You can afford it, man. Come on, just do it. Turf there's so much evidence that turf just blows. It's so bad.
I know.
There's so many injuries that happen on turf, and they don't like it.
Yeah, it's frustrating. The Dallas pass rush looked good. DeMarcus Lawrence had 3 sacks. Micah Parsons had 2 QB hits. They sacked him 5 times overall. So good game by the Cowboys here to win. Any game that they can win without Dak Prescott is a huge win for them.
Yeah.
And hopefully Dak is back in 2 weeks. But we will see. Thursday night's game, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Man, this happened a long time ago. This happened. I'm trying to remember back on this game.
I just remember seeing that. I mean, there was a George Pickens ridiculous catch. I remember seeing that.
Oh yeah, that was
the Browns' run game
David
looks very, very good. What?
David and Njoku had a huge game.
Yeah, out of nowhere, he had a big game.
Yeah.
The Browns' run game looks really good. Jacoby Brissett had a good game. Amari Cooper had a good game. That was like a trade that I feel like no one really talked about. It just kind of happened with a guy the caliber of Amari Cooper being traded. I feel like there was little to no coverage of it.
Yeah.
But he looks good. Yeah, I don't know. Steelers are a very boring team to talk about. I'm not gonna lie. Like I look at them and it's just like yeah, Trubisky's there. You like the only thing you talk about is Trubisky's not good enough for the receivers. Like that's the biggest thing. Like you know their defense is really good.
Yeah. Najee Harris is really boring to watch for me.
Yeah. If he doesn't get like 20 plus carries, he doesn't look good. He last year he averaged for sure under 4 yards a carry, and this year he's doing the same. Yeah, last year was like 3.9. So let's say basically 4.
I mean,
he had 1,200 yards, so everyone thought that he was going insane.
Yeah. But he just got the ball so many times, but like his yards per carry has never been good. No. He just kind of like it feels like he wants to be Le'Veon Bell. Like he just dances around in the backfield, and then he just kind of like it doesn't even feel like he runs towards a gap. He just kind of skips towards a gap and then gets hit and falls down, and like that's it. And unless he can get out in space and hurdle someone, like he did for a long gain of 10 yards, like there, and then immediately you put in this Jalen Warren dude who I've never heard of, 4 carries, and all 4 of them were like bang, bang, bang. He got one huge one called back for a hole. Like he hit the hole so hard. He was fast. It's like this guy's literally better at running the football than Najee Harris. Like Najee Harris is just there because it's the first round pick. And yes, he has good receive space, but Jalen Warren guy looked way more deadly. Like, not even gonna lie, like when he got the ball, he's just so much more electric. And Najee Harris just does this whole dancing. Wait, who was the guy? Who's the running back that didn't like dancing in the backfield? Wasn't there someone this offseason who didn't like the word dancing?
Like a running back said that he didn't like dancing?
It might have been Najee. Let me see.
I don't know. I don't remember hearing that.
Oh my god, it was definitely something. But oh my god, I want to find this, man. Najee Harris. It might have been Najee Harris.
Oh my god. I don't know. I don't. He's so athletic, and he like he can be very, very good if he uses it right, but like you hit it on the head, like he just doesn't hit the hole very hard. And the reason why Le'Veon Bell was so good at what he did is because he didn't have like incredible speed anyway. Like he just had really good agility, and when he hit the hole, like it looked like he was just jogging, but it's because he was he had incredible vision to be able to know when the hole was going to open up properly. Najee Harris doesn't have that yet, and also the Steelers' offensive line isn't as good as it was when Le'Veon Bell was playing as it is now. So that also plays into it.
It was Saquon Barkley, by the way, that said that August 19th, he didn't like. Oh yeah, he said he was fed up of people saying that he's dancing in the backfield, but I just said that with Najee's. So he probably doesn't like that, but yeah, like the Steelers, as you said, they're boring. Hopefully they can put in Pickett soon.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Next game wasn't boring. Ravens, Patriots, 37-26. Yep. Lamar Jackson looks so good throwing the football, 4 touchdowns. Still ran for over 100 yards and another touchdown. The Ravens offense looks really deadly. The defense doesn't, but yeah, what do you think of the Ravens offense?
It looks really, really good, and it's all because of Lamar Jackson. Like he's just a good player, and like he's just like he's an MVP. Like I don't know what. Like, I'm pretty sure through 3 games, would you say he's an MVP front runner? I would think so.
Yeah,
just based on total stats. Like him or Hurts. I think it's him or Hurts. Like he's very, very good, and like 4 touchdowns and played good. He ran the ball well again. which is, I still think his legs are his best asset, but I don't think he's not relying on it nearly as much now, which is very good. And he hasn't for the last couple of seasons. But it's good to see Mark Andrews have a really good game. I hope that the running back starts to get a little more involved. But obviously with J.K. Dobbins coming back, he tore like literally. They mentioned like what it was like his ACL, his MCL, his PCL, and his hamstring somehow. Like I don't even understand how you do that and come back to walk, let alone play in an NFL game. So they definitely have to be careful with him. But I think if they're able to get him up and healthy again, the run attack, the rushing attack is going to be phenomenal. I still think they need one more receiver though. But outside of that, I'm very confident in the Ravens winning the AFC North. Yeah, I said it at the beginning of the year, and I'm sticking to it. I think they're the best team. I think they would have won last year if they didn't. Literally every single member of their team didn't get hurt.
Right, I know. I mean, their defense is a little concerning. Patriots put up 26 points.
For sure.
Mac Jones did throw 3 interceptions, but he also had like some really nice throws in this game. 321 yards, only 22 completions. So Devonte Parker had a really big game. Of course, like I dropped Devonte Parker in fantasy, and then literally the week after he gets 150 yards after like I don't even know if he had a catch like in the first 2 games, but I mean if he can get going with Devonte Parker, who was a borderline elite receiver there in Miami, especially with those jump balls, that would be something special. Ramondre Stevenson, the run game looked good. So Patriots, I feel like overall looked pretty good. I mean, I don't feel like their defense played terribly. I guess their run defense was bad, but only 218 yards from Lamar. Dietrich Wise had 3 sacks. He's like come out of nowhere this season.
Yeah. He's had a really, really good. I mean, that's why like this team is good, and Jonathan Jones as well. He's been like one of the best corners in football.
Yeah,
seemingly out of nowhere.
Yeah, the Patriots are always so weird with them, like switching through corners like that. Like even going back, like Aqib Talib, he was good, and then they got like Darrelle Revis that one year, and then
Malcolm Butler
go.
Like Malcolm Butler, like he had to play in the Super Bowl, and he comes back and has a Pro Bowl type season.
Yeah,
and then out of nowhere, just like stops playing. Like he just didn't.
Yeah, and then Stephon Gilmore out of nowhere had a good season with the Patriots, and then he left. And then it was J.C. Jackson out of nowhere, and then he left. And now it's Jonathan Jones out of nowhere. And I think he's a free agent after the season. So he might leave, and they'll have to find some other guy that they can develop into an elite corner. But it might be Jack Jones, our ASU guy.
Yes.
They have so many Joneses I think they have 3 Jones in the secondary. But Ravens win this game. They look really good.
Yeah.
Kansas City did not look very good, losing to the Colts 20-17. What were your thoughts on this game?
Well, the Colts did what we kind of told everyone to do. They made Mahomes stay like beneath 15 yards. They did not let anything get behind them. There was a big play that Juju had, but it was more of like a catch and run thing. It wasn't like wasn't a bomb. They played with 2 high safeties. They made sure that everything stayed low, and the Chiefs looked like they did last year to start the season, where it was just kind of sluggish and it didn't look connected. And then there also was a really dumb, like they had the fake field goal, which sucked.
Yeah.
Very dumb play there. But the Colts, this is a big win for the Colts. Like this is key. Like same thing with the Titans. Like the Colts needed this win. It's really bad. And Matt Ryan looked okay, but in terms of the Chiefs, the run game didn't look good. 2.5 yards per carry on 23 carries, and their leading rusher was Mahomes, with a whopping 26 yards. So that needs to be shored up. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Listen to this stat line: 7 carries, 0 yards, and a touchdown. I don't know how that's possible, but it happened. So that can't happen. They have to be better. at running the football. But I don't know. I think they'll be fine. It was not a good game.
Yeah. I mean, I think their offense is more of a concern right now.
Mm-hmm.
They just like don't have this plan of attack. It feels like, as you said, I mean, it feels like if any team does that too high safety, they're just like screwed. I mean, they just don't do anything on offense. So it's like, how do they not have a game plan for that defense? And how do they not execute something? It just feels like they just do their own thing and let Mahomes try to win it for them. But yeah, they made a lot of mistakes in this game. I did feel like overall they were the better football team, but that Chris Jones unsportsmanlike conduct that gave the Colts, that eventually led to their game-winning touchdown. That happened on a third down. It would have been fourth, and then they got the automatic first down. So that happened. They had that muff punt by Sky Moore. The Mahomes interception at the end. They just made a lot of stupid mistakes that led them to losing by just 3 points. So yeah, I think their offense. I don't even know who this guy on defense is, Darius Harris, but he had 13 tackles for the Chiefs. Their defense looks pretty good.
Yeah,
followed up Jonathan Taylor. They were all over Matt Ryan the whole day, 5 sacks. So
Justin Reed was such a good signing by them. They lose Tyrann Mathieu and they get Justin Reed to replace him. He's been really, really good for them. Like the story has been about him, like kicking, like because he's a very good kicker.
Right.
But he legitimately has been a really, really good safety. He's shored up the back end a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think he's better than Tyrann Mathieu, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like he's been very, very good. And in a secondary that loses Chardavius Ward, getting him back there is big because you do have a lot of young corners.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Tyrann Mathieu's present team just lost 22-14 to the Panthers. Embarrassing loss considering how terrible the Panthers are right now offensively. Baker Mayfield only 12 completions, but I mean McCaffrey did have 100 yards on the ground. Really just that big play by Laviska Shenault, 67-yard touchdown that flipped the game kind of on its head, and then some 2 interceptions by Winston, and that's what happened.
Yeah. Jameis does not look good this season, like at all. I had really high hopes for him coming into this year, but he just hasn't looked good. The interceptions that he's thrown are really dumb. It's like just awful reads. It looked like when he was back in Tampa Bay and he would just throw it into like triple coverage. Like they're like Drew Lock interceptions where like he leaves his hand and like there is nothing there that's open and he's just throwing them. Which is an issue. Chris Olave has been really, really good. That's been their bright spot through this season. Once again, Alvin Kamara, not the best game. He has to really start getting it going because they cannot rely on Jameis Winston. Very similar to the Commanders. If you're relying on Winston to throw it 41 times and win a game, you're not going to win that game. Like you have to have a more consistent rushing attack. And it starts with Alvin Kamara. He's an all-pro caliber guy. But for him to only get 15 carries and 2 receptions, like he has to have more touches than that.
That's what I don't understand the whole like giving the ball to Mark Ingram thing, especially when Kamara only has 15 carries. Like Kamara could definitely get 20 carries a game.
Yeah.
But instead they give it to Mark Ingram, who provides like next to nothing, I feel like, running the ball because he fumbles a lot. He's not fast. He's not particularly strong. He can't make anyone miss with a juke. So I don't really understand why he's the guy they signed as a backup, because I mean he was pretty much out of the league and it's not like he was blackballed or anything. It's just I think he just is old and stuff. But so I don't know why they are continuing to use him, because he basically lost that game for them against the Buccaneers with that fumble and then did nothing in this game. But
I mean he's why is Latavius Murray? Is he's still on the Saints? No.
How? Where do you see that?
I clicked on Mark Ingram's name on ESPN, and then on the side it'll show all of the like the running backs that they have on the roster, and Latavius Murray shows up. There's no way.
He is, I guess.
I don't. But I was just looking at Mark Ingram's age. He's 32, and for running backs, that is kind of the age where they're out. Like that's just it. Unless you're Frank Gore, but even Frank Gore, like he was just in the league
Yeah.
just because people liked him. Like he wasn't good after the age of like 33.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't know why they signed him. If I'm being quite honest, it would have gone much better if they just drafted a running back at some point in the draft and used that. I know they don't have a ton of picks, but I don't know. And on the Panthers side of things, Baker didn't look good either. 12 of 25 is awful. It's disgusting. McCaffrey did play well. He looks good. He is popping up on the injury report every once in a while, which sucks. But he looked fine. Laviska Shenault, 2 receptions, 90 yards. Hilarious.
I know.
But
they need to get DJ Moore involved, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand how like you just can't get him involved at all, because when he has the ball in his hands, he's so special. I guess he did run it 2 times, but he only got the ball 3 times this game, and he's the best player on the team, I think. Like,
easily.
I mean, I guess McCaffrey maybe with the ball in his hands, but like I just don't understand it at all. Because he can do everything too. He's a good route runner. He can go up and get the ball. I don't know. I mean, they're just a mess there with their offensive coordinator McDonald.
They're not a good team. Like Matt Rule has not shown anything through 3 seasons that he's a good coach. I've always been a believer in Baker, but I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't look good through 3 games. And in general don't look good. I think that's all of them. I think that's all the games. No. Dolphins.
We got 4 more.
4 more, Jesus. I don't know if we have to talk about all 4.
Yeah, I know. I don't really. I kind of want to get through these.
Okay, the Dolphins Bills, I think, is the only other one that has consequence.
19 points with like 90 plays ran and 63 attempts by Josh Allen for 400 yards. And they only come away with 19 points. I think they had the ball 40 minutes and the Dolphins like 20 minutes. So definitely like really, really interesting. Josh Allen is being asked, I feel like, to do way more than like that was the issue. I feel like a couple years ago, even at points last year when they were losing a couple games, it was just like, it's only Josh Allen.
Too much. It's too much.
Like Singletary and Moss had 12 carries combined.
Josh Allen was their leading carry guy. He had 8 carries.
Yeah.
You can't. You need more.
47.
You need more diversity. You need to run the ball. That's been their biggest. Like they haven't been a good rushing team in the past, but I mean Zach Moss, 4 carries, 46 yards. Like, give him the ball more. That's a very good stat line. Well, okay, actually, hold on. Like 43 of those came on 1 rush. So, I mean, but still, like,
so he had one of them.
But still, like, give him. You need to run the ball more. You have to establish something. 63 attempts is too much. And I will say this. Like, I'm not going to say this is a bad loss for the Bills because they were missing like almost their entire offensive line. Both Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde were out. They still don't have Tre'Davious White back. Like, they're very, very, they were very thin in this game. So the fact that it was close on the road and like every single receiver and defensive player started cramping up at the end of the game as well. The fact that they were in this game is impressive, but they had a chance to win. Like, Isaiah McKenzie was open in the end zone and Josh Allen just underthrew it. Like he had him. But they just need to you need to be able to run the ball. You cannot have 63 pass attempts.
Yeah. That pass reminded me of that Mahomes pass against the Chargers last year.
Yeah.
But like going back to that point with their defense being injured, that's fair. Like their whole secondary was hurt. Tre'Davious White wasn't playing, and obviously Dane Jackson, who got hurt last week, isn't playing. But like the defense was only on the field for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And it's not like they played bad. I mean, they allowed that Jalen Waddle deep pass, but other than that, I don't really see how Poyer and Hyde and Tre'Davious White could have made a difference. I definitely understand it on the offensive line, but with the considering Miami only had 37 plays,
yeah. Like I look at the possession. You were spot on. It was Buffalo had 40 minutes and 40 seconds of possession time, and Miami had 19 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was just saying in general the amount of injuries.
right.
But yeah, because I mean they did play well. Like 21 points for Miami, considering the last 2 weeks that they had, that's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like 18 pass attempts for Tua Tagovailoa, and he got injured as well. But yeah, it was such a weird game. Like the end of the game was so odd. Like especially like the butt punt was like so funny. Cause like why didn't he move? Like he had time to move to the side to kick it.
Yeah. Well, why did the guy in front of him move backwards too? Like
he wasn't getting blocked or anything.
I know it's like he was just moving back to like gauge someone in case someone was coming, but like at that situation, I feel like you need to have the awareness that I can't really move back right
Yeah.
now. So yeah, that was interesting because it gave him like another chance, but then
they gave him another chance. Plus, if they got in a field goal range, like that wins it. That doesn't just tie. That wins it. Like that was the funniest part for me. Was like I was like, dude, the safety is the worst thing there because like if it was like a 6-point game and you take the safety, fine, because then they still need a touchdown regardless.
Yeah,
but like it was a 4-point game, so the safety still makes it a field goal to win if you get that safety. It's so funny.
Oh, all right. Do you want to talk about Vikings Lions a little bit?
It's just a bad loss for the Lions.
Yeah,
like they should have won this one easily. The percentage one says that they had a 93.2% chance of winning in the fourth quarter. Oh wait, no, it should be even more than that. Oh my god. 93.2. Is that what I said? That is what I said. 90. They should have won. They had it in the bag. And then they missed a field goal and everything got screwed up. And then Dan Campbell went for it on fourth down in the fourth when they did not need to, and they could have just kicked a field goal then, which was a much easier field goal. And then they could have won. That was bad. But Vikings, good on them for being able to come back. Big win. They're 2-1 somehow. I think they're a good team. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I think they're a good team.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. Yeah. All right. Picks, and then we can.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we're gonna do picks. Yeah.
We can make that quick though, but I don't know where this document is.
Let me. Yeah, wait, hold on. It's labeled week 2 predictions, but I might just make one big prediction.
How do I not have this in my docs right now? I was just on.
I mean, you are shared on it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, you have access.
Do this call me thing.
What if I'll remove you and then I'll add you again?
All right.
You get it again. Okay. All right, I just sent it to you again.
Is it the NFL predictions?
Yeah. It's the same one.
Okay. All right, there we go.
You see the Nuggets were at the Padres game today for some reason.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like in Padres
stuff. Yeah.
It's so odd. Jokic was not in a Padres jersey.
Yeah, thankfully. All right. What is this, week 4? Okay, first game Thursday night, Miami at Cincinnati. What are you taking?
Miami at sorry. Hold on. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Oh, at Cincy, I'm gonna take the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk
Yeah,
about
I'm just
this
thinking
later.
with Tua's injury a little bit.
Yeah,
And I don't know if they're going to investigate that whole situation. Like they said, it was his back, but I don't know. That looked really weird to
it
be
looked
like
like a concut. Like he was like stumbling off the
I
field.
know he looked like he was woozy and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm going Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati gets their mojo back here.
yeah, I agree. Going Bengals.
Vikings at New Orleans.
I'm
The
gonna go
Saints just don't
Vikings.
look good enough for me right
Yeah,
now.
they don't look good. I'll
Cleveland
go
at,
Vikings.
at Atlanta. I'm actually gonna go Atlanta gets their first win here.
I'm gonna go Cleveland. Well, Atlanta won last week. So.
Or okay, yeah. That's true. First win at home, I guess.
Yeah,
No,
I'm gonna
there's
go
only been
Cleveland.
like 3 games.
Unfortunately, I think the Browns are not half bad.
Commanders at the Cowboys. Cooper Rush still starting.
I'll take the Cowboys.
I'm gonna take the Commanders, just because I don't know why, but
It'd be very Cowboys lost if they lost.
yeah. Seattle at Detroit. I'm going Lions for
I'm
sure.
also going Lions.
I think they've gone, what is this, like 18 straight quarters with a touchdown.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Going back to last year. Tennessee at the Colts.
Ooh, big division
Yeah.
matchup. I'll go Colts. I think they're a better team than Tennessee.
Yeah, I do too.
They have the home field.
Yeah. All right. Bears at Giants. I'm gonna go Bears here.
I don't know. The Bears are so weird.
I know. Honestly, no, I can't go Bears. They just
I was gonna say, like I started typing out Bears. And I'm like, God, I'm gonna go Giants. I think the Bears passing attack is just so bad. Like it's not. I don't think it's because Justin Fields is that bad. It's just that they aren't throwing enough for him to get in a rhythm.
Mm-hmm. This is a good one. Jags at the Eagles. Two teams who have been powerhouses to start.
At Eagles, I'm gonna take.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take Eagles.
I'll
They've
take
been a very good
Eagles
home team
too.
lately.
Actually, no.
Funny.
I'm riding the Jags train.
Riding the Jags.
Yeah.
It's very funny that this is like the first big test for the Eagles.
I know.
The Jags.
Yeah. Jets out, God, Jesus. Jets at Pittsburgh.
Oh, wait. Is this the week Zach Wilson might be able to come back? I mean, I'll still take
It
Steelers.
might be, yeah. I think it is week 4, but yeah,
I'm still taking Steelers, but
just because this is like first game.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to watch. I was so excited for his second season.
Yeah. Bills at Ravens.
Why is this not Sunday night?
I know. I was gonna say it's only 10 a.m. game.
What the heck?
I'm gonna go.
Is it Bill? Is it at Ravens?
Yeah. I'm gonna go Bills. I think they win like 34-31.
Going Ravens. It's gonna be a shootout.
Yeah.
Especially if Poyer's out for a second week, because Micah Hyde's out for the whole year.
Yeah.
Which really sucks. But if Poyer's out again, that secondary is gonna get blitzed.
Chargers. This is so funny. I see it on ESPN. You can see like the ticket cost. So the Baltimore game, tickets as low as $126, and then this Chargers Texans game, tickets as low as $20.
You know what? I'm going with the Texans.
Wow, really?
I'm going. It's at Texans, right?
Yeah, it is.
Going with. I think the Chargers. That injuries are gonna screw them up. I think.
Man, that would be a loss.
Going with the Texans. I remember, based on the ticket prices, I'm gonna say this really quick. I was looking at, because obviously the Coyotes got their weird new arena with ASU, and there's only 5,000 seats, so the ticket prices are ridiculously juiced. And I was looking at tickets for when the Avs come, and there's a game in March when it's Avs at Coyotes, and the cheapest ticket's like $140.
Dude, like, they are expensive, but I've got the inside scoop though with the class I have, because we were talking to the director of ticket sales, and they were saying for ASU students it'll be like 25.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, So ASU students will be 25, and I think you get like a discount on drinks and stuff. And it'll be like
is this the class with Kevin?
yeah, dude, this class is so fire. But
Dude, I love that. I loved that class last year. It was so fun.
wait, did you have him last year?
Kevin, yeah.
Oh wow, okay. Dude, he's so good. All the guest speakers are insane. Like
yeah. Kevin's got so many connections. It's ridiculous.
I know. Oh my god, dude. Even his wife. Have you met his wife?
No, he was gonna bring her in one day, but then she had to do something. But no, we haven't met his wife yet.
Dude, his wife is insane too. Like literally, like Curry's agent, Giannis's agent, like agent. Like Giannis. I know Giannis. So when Giannis's dad died, she was telling us Giannis called the cops first, her second. She's Wesley Matthews' like daughter's like godmother or whatever.
Wow.
Like, yeah, and then like it's the same thing with Curry. Like Curry and her go way back to like 2013. She wrote Curry's MVP speech.
Oh my god.
I know, and told Curry that he won MVP in the first place. But dude, that whole family, like,
Jesus,
their phones must have so many insane contacts.
Kevin told us that he got like invited to Michael Jordan's 50th birthday party.
Oh my god.
Like,
dude, he didn't even tell us that. He's always like so humble with this stuff.
He's so humble, but like the amount of stuff, like later more in the semester we'll start talking about like the most ridiculous stuff, and he's like, dude, who is this guy?
I know. Dude, she was also Kyler Murray's agent. She was telling us the whole story about when the whole contract thing went down.
Bro, that family's probably loaded. The contracts,
I know. Right?
Giannis, Curry, and Kyler Murray, those are all $200 million. Jesus Christ.
Literally. But I mean, she's got so many other people too, like literally, like so many NBA players. Crazy. And like, yeah, very crazy. All right. Cardinals, Panthers. Oh god, this is the game you were talking about. I'm gonna go Panthers.
I have no clue who I'm taking. I'll go Cards. I don't feel good about it, but I'll go Cards.
Yeah. No, I do not feel good about this one. All right. Patriots at Packers. I'm gonna go Packers.
Yep.
Denver at Raiders. Dude, please, man. I just want to blow out so bad. I want that fourth quarter momentum to go in this game, and hopefully they're pissed off still, for whatever reason, and then they just like blow out the Raiders.
Yeah. I like this. Oh my god. Surtain versus Devonte Adams is going to be such a good matchup.
Yeah.
Like this is like a trap game. Like this is a game that Denver's feeling confident going into. The Raiders are going to be angry. Like if you can get a big lead on this team, they're going to win, because like if you can hit them first, you're going to win. So I'm excited about that.
That's true.
Very excited.
All right. Chiefs, the Sunday night game, Chiefs at Bucks.
This is a good one.
I'm gonna go Buccaneers here. I think their defense is so good they can kind of slow down the Chiefs a little bit, and then Mike Evans back at Buccaneers.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think this is a rematch of the Super Bowl, and I think that they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder. Obviously, it was 2 years ago, but I think that the Chiefs are gonna want to be able to come out firing.
Yeah.
I think Chiefs take it. Oh, but it'll be tough because the Bucs defense is very, very good, and you already know that Todd Bowles is gonna run too deep safety the entire game.
Right.
We'll see.
All right, Rams, Niners, Monday night. I'm gonna go Niners here.
At Niners?
Yeah,
I'm taking Niners too then.
All right.
Okay, that is it. Next time we talk to you, basketball will be happening. The Nuggets play their first preseason game on Monday. So likely after we talk, or likely before we record or stream or whatever we're gonna do. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for a stream sometime next week. We will talk about week 4, go through our predictions, go through our picks, all the whole
Oh,
thing.
by the way, I don't think I'm gonna be able. Again, I'm on this plane flight for a wedding. I leave tomorrow morning. I have to wake up at like 6:30, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch like any of the games because I fly on a Sunday.
Oh, tough.
So
Okay.
I'll be able to see the Thursday night game, but I think I don't even know when the wedding is. It might be Thursday, but
Okay. Well, then we'll
yeah,
see. Maybe we
Sunday
just do a
won't be able to
whole.
watch anything.
Maybe we just do a whole Nuggets one,
Yeah, we could.
or we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll do something next week. Be on the lookout for that.